Thank you, Ben and the Salem High School Band. Veterans and friends, good morning. I am Joe Cole, the commander of the Salem Veterans Council. On behalf of the City of Salem and the Salem Veterans Council, I would like to welcome you all to this year's Memorial Day ceremony. Please take a moment to turn off all cell phones and refrain from using them during the ceremony out of respect to our attendees. We will now have the presentation of the colors, the Pledge of Allegiance, the National Anthem, and the invocation. The colors will be presented by the Salem High School Marine Corps Junior ROTC. The Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Girl Scout Troop 79125, and the National Anthem will be played by the Salem High School Band. I remind all veterans that it is federally authorized to render a hand salute during the Pledge of Allegiance, passing of the colors, and the National Anthem. Veterans, present arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready? Cut. Order. Colors.
The invocation will be offered by U.S. Air Force veteran Pastor Bob Parody of the historic Wesley United Methodist Church in Salem.
Okay.
Pastor Parody.
Rest.
Would you please pray with me?
Uncover.
Gracious God, on this Memorial Day we come before you with hearts filled with gratitude and reverence. We thank you for the freedom we enjoy, a freedom that has been hard-earned through the courage and sacrifice of those who came before us. We remember today the men and women who gave their lives for our nation, especially U.S. Navy Seaman First Class Anthony Frank Pidnkowski. And we honor their memory with profound respect. May their sacrifices inspire us to live with purpose and to cherish the freedoms they fought to protect. We ask for your blessing upon our nation, and we pray for peace in our world. Amen.
Amen. Cover. Thank you, Pastor Parody. Originally called Decoration Day from the early tradition of decorating graves with flowers, wreaths, and flags, Memorial Day is a day for remembrance of those who have died in service to our country. It was first widely observed on 30 May 1868 to commemorate the sacrifices of Civil War soldiers by proclamation of General John A. Logan of the Grand Army of the Republic, an organization of former Union sailors and soldiers. During that first national commemoration, former Union General and sitting Ohio Congressman James Garfield made a speech at Arlington National Cemetery, after which 5,000 participants helped to decorate the graves of more than 20,000 Union and Confederate soldiers who were buried there. On this Memorial Day, as Americans have done since 1868, we gather as a community to remember all our fallen service members and their commitment to our country, and to honor their legacy of patriotism and sacrifice. It was during the Civil War at Gettysburg that President Abraham Lincoln dedicated our first national cemetery and gave his immortal address, the Gettysburg Address. Listen as those words are spoken by Senior Color Guard Captain Tanny San Persert.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation, or any nation, so conceived and so dedicated, can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little know, nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us living, rather, to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who have fought here have thus so far nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great task remaining before us. That from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Thank you, Tanny. Only 50 years later, war was again declared by President Woodrow Wilson against Germany. The World War II battles raged throughout Europe. After one of those battles in Flanders, Colonel John McCrae, a surgeon with Canada's 1st Brigade Artillery, penned the famous In Flanders Field. This poem expressed his grief over the row on row of graves and soldiers who had died on Flanders battlefields, located in a region of western Belgium and northern France. Poppies are considered the battlefield flower because they are the first to grow back after war pockmarks the landscape. They have become a symbol of remembrance for those who have died in battle. Once again, listen as Senior Drum Major Thais Saldivar Diaz recites In Flanders Field.
Flanders Fields by
Speak up,
Lieutenant...
no microphone.
Sorry?
It's not, microphone's not on, so just speak up.
Okay. In Flanders Fields by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow. Between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks that still, bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Thank you, Thais. Before we introduce our elected officials, we will hear the Governor's Proclamation read by Salem High School senior and alto saxophone Mari Diaz.
Whereas while the nation was still recovering from the horrors of the Civil War, people in cities and towns across the country gathered to honor those Union and Confederate soldiers who had given their lives, celebrating the first Decoration Day. And whereas after World War I, the nation came together to honor those who had fallen in the service of their country, renamed Memorial Day, the last Monday in May, is when people remember and honor the memory of all men and women who fought and died in all American wars and conflicts. And whereas throughout our country's history, thousands of Massachusetts citizens have fought in wars and conflicts to defend our safety and the way of life. And whereas their legacy of patriotism and dedication to country is an inspiration to all Americans. And whereas it is appropriate to all Massachusetts citizens, remember the bravery of those who gave their lives, so that their sacrifices serve as a reminder of the cost of our freedom.
I'd like to invite the 52nd Mayor of Salem, Dominic Pangalo, to introduce our elected officials here today and offer some words from the City of Salem. Mayor Pangalo.
Thank you, and as always, my deepest thanks to the Salem Veterans Council, to our VSO, Kim Emmerling, for his work organizing this event, to the Salem High School Band, the Girl Scouts and JRTC who are all here participating. Thank you so much for all that you do to make this event possible. I want to recognize the elected officials with us who have joined us for today's ceremony. We have our City Council President, Conrad Prosnewski, and City Councilors Alice Merkel, Caroline Watson-Phelps, Ty Hapworth, Jeff Cohen, Meg Stott, and Cindy Jerslow. School Committee Member A.J. Hoffman, our District Attorney Paul Tucker, State Senator Joan Lovely, and State Representative Manny Cruz. Thank you all for joining us. My thanks and appreciation for the residents of English Street and Cousin Street for their patience this morning with the brass and percussion performance. Hopefully you've been able to join us as well if you're out here. Most importantly, I want to say on behalf of the City of Salem, my gratitude to our veterans, our active duty service members, to our Gold Star families who may be with us today, including the members of the Pitinkowski family who have joined us this morning. For over 150 years, Salem has gathered on Memorial Day to reflect on the lives, heroism, and sacrifice of service members who are no longer with us. One such service member, among the many who have called this special city home for generations, was Seaman First Class Anthony Pitinkowski. His story of service was not unlike the story of countless others who put their lives on the line so that others could continue to live in freedom. Men and women who risked all to preserve democracy at home, protect human rights abroad, and defend the values of our Constitution. Like my own grandfather, Seaman Pitinkowski served our nation in the Pacific Theater during World War II, fighting to protect America and the world from the forces of fascism and tyranny. But while my grandfather would eventually return home, Seaman Pitinkowski did not, succumbing to injuries from the bombing of Darwin and buried at sea off the USS William B. Preston. Over a century prior to that, Salem's own Nathaniel Hawthorne authored these words, reflecting on those lost at sea. The ocean has its silent caves, deep, quiet, and alone. Though there be fury on the waves, beneath them there is none. The awful spirits of the deep hold their communion there, and there are those for whom we weep, the young, the bright, the fair. Calmly the weary seamen rest beneath their own blue sea. The ocean solitudes are blessed, for there is purity. The earth has guilt, the earth has care. Unquiet are its graves, but peaceful sleep is ever there, beneath the dark blue waves. The tragedy of Seaman Pitinkowski's death was only matched by the valor of his service and the depth of his patriotism, deeper by far than any ocean. The same can be said of all our honored and lost soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guards. As for Seaman Pitinkowski, his legacy extended onward from that February day off the shore of Australia on the other side of the world from Salem, from home. It carried forward through time, one in a long line of forgotten fallen heroes never to be forgotten, eventually to return to Salem and to this very corner. This space now joins so many other squares around our city. Intersections of roadways, but also intersections of memory and honor, named in recognition of sons and daughters of Salem who answered their nation's call and paid the utmost price. As you pass through these spaces, look up and reflect on the name that you see on the sign, on the story behind that name, and on the sacrifice behind that story. To our veterans and the families of our veterans, both those who are with us and those who are not, I'm humbled to join you on this sacred occasion. Thank you.
morning. I am deeply honored to be here today to remember our lost heroes, including first classman Anthony Pidenkowski, who made the ultimate sacrifice to preserve our freedom. We honor their bravery and thank them for their dedication to defending and protecting our nation and our Commonwealth. It is a unique and special type of individual to serve in our armed forces. They epitomize what it means to be selfless, never hesitating to place our needs above their own. I want to thank our VSO and our Veterans Organization for coordinating this event today. Thank you, Mayor Pandalo, the City Council, our school committee members, for your service to our community. I also want to recognize all the veterans and active military personnel here today and across our world for your service and sacrifice. Especially a thank you to your families. Today we stand united to commemorate the legacy and lives of all of our heroes that went above and beyond to selflessly answer the call of duty. Every one of these brave individuals was someone's son or daughter, mother or father, sister or brother, friend or neighbor, and the impact of their loss is immeasurable. It is our responsibility to ensure that their memories remain eternal and that their heroism and courage are forever preserved. Today and every day we express our deep respect and endless gratitude for all of the men and women who served in the United States military and for all those who endured much hardship in the name of freedom, justice, and equality. Thank you.
Good morning. Morning. It is an honor to be able to be here today on Memorial Day to recognize our fallen heroes. I first want to thank our Mayor, Dominic Pangalo, our Veteran Services Officer, Kim Emmerling, the Veterans Council, all the families who are here present today, Salem High's marching band, and my colleagues in elected government for gathering to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom, democracy, and our republic. As we think about the sons and daughters of Salem who gave all across our Commonwealth and our country, many are gathered in reverence to their sacrifices. The reason why our country is as strong as it is because our military is one that stands united in common cause for liberty, justice for all. And the young men and women who sacrificed all across the different theaters of war did so with the hope that their descendants would be able to remain free and that we could liberate those around the world struggling against oppression. As I think about Seaman Pidenkowski and his sacrifice, I can't help but think of all of the service members who I know in my life who talk about their brothers and sisters in arms who they have lost and the deep wounds that they still carry to this day. And what I can commit to you as your state representative is that I am here to listen to you, to make sure that you are well served by our Commonwealth, and that we never forget your names and your sacrifices. And we're fortunate that here in Salem we have a community that is dedicated to our veterans. And this year in the Commonwealth we did something that was different during Military Appreciation Month. For the first time ever, Governor Healy and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll held a ceremony at the State House this past week in honor of Military Appreciation Month, in which this first annual event will be the first time that our State House, we invite service members from all over the country, all over the Commonwealth to be recognized for their contributions. And I want to talk about those that are their brothers and sisters keepers, because we have one here in Salem who needs to be also recognized today. I bear with me a citation that is presented by both myself and Senator Lovely from the State House. And today we want to recognize Kim Emmerling. Kim, you are your brothers and sisters keepers. Every day you're serving them. And in recognition of that, being selected as Salem's first honoree at the inaugural Military Appreciation Day hosted by the Governor Driscoll Healy administration, at the Massachusetts State House, we want to honor you for your service as a U.S. Army Command Sergeant Major and your ongoing leadership in supporting Salem's veterans and their families and ensuring that they are never forgotten. Our entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all of your endeavors. God bless you, Kim Emily.
Good morning, everybody. Before I begin a few remarks, I want to recognize somebody who served Salem for decades, was a captain in the Army in Vietnam, Jim Fleming. Jim Fleming is here today. Like so many other veterans, Jim has an impeccable record of service. I always consider it such a privilege to be able to speak here on Memorial Day, to honor the heroes across Salem who served across time. Also, to make sure we recognize our Gold Star families. When I was a state representative, every year our Gold Star families came in. The sacrifices that they made and continue to make can never be forgotten. I also want to take this time, my few minutes here, to make sure that when we think about our veterans who we've lost, those who were killed in battle defending our freedom, that they're more than just names on a wall, names etched on a stone, that they were real people from Salem. And if we look through the history of these men and women that stepped forward, people like Peter Leonard, who died in World War I in service to the country, lived at 32 Ward Street. Edward Barrows grew up on Orange Street, was killed in Guam in World War II. Chester Malionik, one of the great Salem families, the Malionik family, killed in Hurton Forest by a German sniper, grew up at 4 Blaney Street, right around the corner. Richard Lindsay from Salem died in Korea. Richard Gray, first lieutenant, grew up on 54 Raymond Road, killed in Vietnam. And James Ayub II, grew up on Bridge Street, died while serving this country in Operation Enduring Freedom. They are representative of the people from Salem who stepped forward to raise their right hand and to make sure that not only was Salem and this country defended, but across the world. Interestingly enough, many of the people that have died in battle from Salem, many grew up here, but many were born here. But there were also some from Poland, from Canada, from Ireland, from Italy. Think about immigrating to this country and signing up to serve in our military. Even though this wasn't their native country, America was their country. It was their home country. They came from leather factories, retail stores, clerks, police officers, all with a common theme: to step forward and to serve. They served around the world and died in faraway places, but they'll always be remembered here in Salem. I also want to take just a moment to think about the death of Harry Christensen. Some of you may have known him. He just died last month. He was from Marblehead. Harry Christensen was emblematic of many of these people I just mentioned. An ordinary man who went on to do extraordinary things in battle. Harry was the United States Marine Corps tank commander. In Vietnam, in one day, he showed intrepid gallantry. And if you read his citation, which he received, he's a recipient of the Silver Star. To read it is just incredible. But Harry was also the guy that you may find when he was sitting at the stool at Ziggy's Donuts, a quiet hero like so many others. God bless America.
Thank you, Mayor Pangalo, Senator Lovely, Representative Cruz, and District Attorney Tucker. Salem High School Band will now play a medley of our service hymns in honor of our city veterans, past and present. once again to remember and honor one of our own. Anthony Frank Pidenkowski was born on 10 July 1916 and initially served his country for 6 years in the United States Marine Corps. On 11 March 1940, he enlisted in the United States Navy and was assigned to the USS William B. Preston, AVD-7, a destroyer seaplane tender. Traveling throughout the Far East, the USS Preston completed support operations in Pearl Harbor, Guam, Wake Island, and the Philippines during 1940 and 1941. Maintained in readiness in the Philippines in late 1941, for any eventuality, the ship was on station in the Philippines during the 7 December 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor and during a follow-on December 1941 Japanese attack on the Philippines. Setting sail along the coast, the ship arrived in Darwin, Australia on the day after New Year's, 1942. For the remainder of January and into February, the ship continued her seaplane tending operations as the forces combating the Japanese rapidly dwindled. On 19 February 1942, as Nazi Germany was reaching the height of its power, 11 weeks after the attacks on Pearl Harbor and 2 weeks after the fall of Singapore, elements of the same Imperial Japanese Navy force, under the command of Admiral Chuichi Nagumo, attacked Darwin from 4 of the same aircraft carriers used at Pearl Harbor. Often referred to as Australia's Pearl Harbor, the bombing of Darwin by 188 carrier-based Japanese aircraft killed more than 230 people and destroyed ships, buildings, and infrastructure. Of the 47 ships in Darwin's harbor that day, 8 were sunk, 1 was beached and lost, and 11 were damaged. The USS William B. Preston was hit as it attempted to make for the open sea, resulting in 11 men killed, 2 missing, and 3 wounded. One of those killed was Seaman First Class Pidenkowski, who suffered third-degree burns in the attack and died of his injuries. He was buried at sea. Seaman First Class Pidenkowski's awards include the Purple Heart, the Victory Medal, and the American Defense Service Medal. I'd like to invite the members of the Pidenkowski family to join Veterans Agent Kim Emmerling for the dedication of the square in memory of Seaman First Class Anthony Frank Pidenkowski. Massachusetts Medal of Liberty is awarded to the families and next of kin of servicemen and women from the Commonwealth killed in action who died in service while in a designated combat area in the line of duty or who died as a result of wounds received in action. It is presented on behalf of the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as Commander-in-Chief of the Commonwealth. The medal, designed by Sergeant Christopher W. Adams, is heart-shaped to symbolize the Purple Heart and is attached to a 1 3/8 inch wide ribbon with a black border representing mourning. The center of the medal bears a gold star, symbolizing the Gold Star Mothers Club. At the top center of the medal is the coat of arms of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and on the rear side is the recipient's branch of service and name with the words "in honored memory" engraved above, and "service and sacrifice" below. I would ask Senator Lovely and Mayor Pungalo to come forward on behalf of the Governor and Commonwealth of Massachusetts to present the Medal of Liberty to the Pidenkowski family.
Please come forward. If you'd allow me, I'd like to read this. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that the Governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, authorized by Chapter 132 of the Acts of 2009, has presented the Medal of Liberty for Seaman First Class Anthony F. Pidenkowski, United States Navy. The Medal of Liberty shall be awarded to the next of kin of servicemen and women from the Commonwealth, killed in action or who died in service while in a designated combat area in the line of duty, who died as a result of wounds received in action or died as a result of a training accident in the line of duty. It is signed by our Governor, Maura T. Healing, and also signed by our Major General, Adjutant General, Gary W. Key.
Thank you to the Pidenkowski family for being with us here today to honor and serve the service and sacrifice of Seaman First Class Anthony Frank Pidenkowski. I would also like to mention today, on Memorial Day, that the City Council recently approved a Veterans Council request for another Veterans Square in the city in memory of John Joseph Gallagher. U.S. Army Tech 5th Class Gallagher was killed in action on 3 March 1944 during a battle to secure an airstrip in Nadzab, New Guinea. The square is located in Ward 3 at the corners of Hathorn Street and Dane Court. We thank him and his family for the sacrifices to our country. At this time, we will read the names of our Salem veterans who answered the final call in this past year. At the conclusion of the reading of names, there will be a rifle salute, and just a reminder that it gets rather loud, so be prepared, followed by taps. Richard Arno, United States Air Force. Robert Baldwin, United States Army. Robert Bell, United States Army. Stanley Bennett, United States Army. Henry Bernard, United States Navy. Joseph Boisvert, United States Army. Kenneth Wenatchee, United States Navy. Hale Brack, United States Navy. Dwayne Burdick, United States Army. Paul Butler, United States Navy. Ronald Calvani, United States Air Force. Victor Sereno Vargas, United States Army. Stephen Coddens, United States Marine Corps. Martin Cohen, United States Navy. Gerald Cole, United States Army. Robert Cook, United States Army. Dana Corriveau, United States Navy. Nelson DeRoyne, United States Marine Corps. Robert Doward, United States Navy. James Drago, United States Army. George Estradios, United States Army. Bertrand Gagnon, United States Air Force. Anthony Garrow, United States Marine Corps. Michael Georges, United States Navy. Robert Gilbert, United States Army. William Hall, United States Navy. Donald Hayes, United States Navy. Robert Huffnagel Jr., United States Air Force. Jeffrey Knorr Sr., United States Navy. Evan Lambros, United States Army. Craig Lampkin, United States Army. Donald Lord, United States Air Force. Edwin Lubis, United States Navy. Dominic Marafa, United States Navy. Owen McCann, United States Army. Bruce McLaughlin, United States Army. Alfred Michalowski, United States Navy. James Michaud, United States Air Force. Paul Moreland, United States Air Force. John Muzzerall, United States Air Force. Francis Murphy, United States Navy. Martin Perkins, United States Navy. Michael Petrowitz, United States Army. Bertrand Raby, United States Navy. David Steedman, United States Army. Thomas Stevens, United States Army. John Tachuk, United States Army. James Tobin, United States Navy. Charles Walsh, United States Air Force. Veterans, present arms. Parody will now offer a closing prayer. Front cover.
Lord, as we conclude this Memorial Day service, we give thanks for all the lives of those we honor today, especially U.S. Navy Seaman First Class Anthony Frank Pidenkowski, and for the freedom they helped secure for us. We ask for your comfort and peace to surround the families and loved ones of those who have passed. May their memories be a source of inspiration and hope. May your grace and peace abide with us all. Amen.
Cover. Thank you, Pastor Parody. As we depart today, please remember all those brave veterans in our city and our country who have paid and continue to pay the ultimate sacrifice to preserve the freedoms that we continue to enjoy. I hope that as everyone drives by this square and all the other veteran squares in the city, that they notice the signs and appreciate the fact that freedom is not free. I would like to thank the Pidenkowski family for their participation, Mayor Pangalo, elected officials, Pastor Parody, Salem Police Department, Salem Fire Department, Salem High School Marine Corps GROTC, Ben and the Salem High School Band, the student readers, Tanny Thais and Mari, Girl Scout Troop 79125, and Kim Emmerling, who so ably supports the veterans of the city. Thank you for all attending, and immediately after the ceremony, you were all invited to a collation at VW Post 1524, right around the corner. As we conclude today's ceremony, please join the Salem High School Band in singing God Bless America.